Ripple's a company of really professional people working really hard on this. That's why we chose XRP.
There's something wild happening right now with XRP.
We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction, but we do believe it's a coin that will have the most utility out there.
You see, XRP is no longer being ignored. There's 11 firms, over $240 billion plus in assets, all filed directly with the Securities and Exchange Commission for an XRP ETF. We understand what happened to the Bitcoin price after the Bitcoin ETF was approved. The big money came pouring in.
You know, Bitcoin is a store of value. I agree with Mike McGlone, but I think that XRP has a true use case. There's just no doubt about it. And the Ripple team, from the interaction we've had with them, they're really professional. They act like investment bankers over there. They know what they're doing, and they will make this work.
So if the Bitcoin price can hit $150,000, $200,000, $300,000 per coin in the next few years, how high, realistically, could the price of XRP climb? Of course, markets are dipping today. We understand there's an ebb, there's a flow to life, to investing. But I need to be very real with you. XRP is not just a coin, it's the bridge.
We have the technology to allow every financial institution on the planet to settle with every other financial institution in a compatible jurisdiction in any asset in seconds for less than a penny. Just think about this. Anyone who's made a payment knows that we're nowhere near that today. But imagine every financial institution settling with every other financial institution in seconds for less than a penny, any asset. That's fundamentally transformative.
It's not tied to a country, not controlled by a government. And as the world tokenizes real-world assets, brings them on chain, stablecoins, tokenizing US dollars, that's the basic example of a real-world asset. Of course, Ripple has RLUSD, which most people don't realize is seeing the fastest growth year to date.
Building trust for the whole industry and having RLUSD, our stablecoin, which just passed $500 million in market cap. We launched only about 6 months ago, so we're really pleased with that trend line and feel like this will only continue to build that trust.
Unpopular opinion, Ripple's RLUSD might be the most underrated stablecoin of 2025. It went from 36th stablecoin to 17th ranking in 6 months, has seen over 604% growth, actually the second fastest stablecoin year to date, with number one being BlackRock. That's BlackRock's institutional stablecoin, USDTB, BlackRock's USD institutional. Number two, Ripple's. Number three, BUIDL, of course, working with Ondo and built on Ethereum. We have PayPal's stablecoin built on Ethereum and Solana over here, meaning even BlackRock and PayPal and Ripple realize this is the growth industry. This is where the potential is.
So the stablecoin industry is about $250 billion today. You know, many people think it'll be between 1 and 2 trillion in a handful of years. The growth behind it has been profound. We joined the market kind of late, partly because we were using stablecoins in our payment flows for our institutional customers. As you probably know, Ripple at its core has been a payments company and solving a cross-border payments problem. We use stablecoins, we use XRP where it makes sense. And stablecoins, when we were using that, we were a big part of activity for us. We were minting a lot, and we thought we can participate in this market. Given our institutional background, given the fact we've leaned into compliance and been very regulated, we have over 60 global licenses to participate in these markets. So we feel like the growth ahead will serve us well as we continue to serve that institutional client.
So I know what you're asking next. You're asking, how does the stablecoin RLUSD benefit me, an XRP investor?
While XRP is the native currency on the ledger, it was built to support any type of asset, crypto or fiat, issued to trade on the DEX. Bringing more credible assets on the DEX, like RLUSD, drives direct and indirect benefits. For example, it drives more trading volume, which natively uses XRP as a bridge asset through auto-bridging and generally benefits users, developers, and apps. A unique feature of the XRPL DEX is that auto-bridging utilizes XRP as the native currency to facilitate trades between any two assets on the ledger. It automatically considers XRP as an intermediary to find the most efficient trading route across assets. RLUSD and XRP will complement each other because of the inherent differences of the cryptocurrencies. For Ripple's proprietary payment products, XRP will continue to be used as a bridge currency.
So in layman's terms, the more RLUSD usage means the more XRP is burned. And coming back to these stats, It may surprise you that right now, despite the growth, around 83% of RLUSD is on Ethereum, not Ripple. This is just because they chose to interoperate with Ethereum, because Ethereum has the biggest network, the biggest usage already, and people are just sort of using what they know. But how this affects the future, especially as more and more people learn to use Ripple if they want faster and cheaper, as this percentage goes down, the more XRP will get burned. So XRP is over $3 today, despite most people choosing to use the stablecoin on ETH, and despite the RLUSD stablecoin, which will, the more it's used, burn more XRP, is so small. And understanding all that, what does that mean for potential price of the asset? This is assuming Bitcoin stays in a bull market and quality assets grow alongside Bitcoin. And I will just say, because long-term subscribers of the channel, which by the way, Altcoin Daily has been making videos since right here at the very beginning of 2018, we've been talking about cryptocurrency. And long-term subscribers may remember that Altcoin Daily, for lack of a better word, was a hater of XRP for a very long time because it is more centralized than Bitcoin. I think it's more centralized than Ethereum, although that's not quite known how centralized Ethereum is. They keep that a little bit more secret. But why am I now suddenly bullish, or at least giving, I wouldn't say that I'm personally bullish, but I'm saying I got to call a ball, I got to call a strike, and I've changed my mind on XRP. The reason that for such a long time I was bearish on XRP, you could say it started in 2018, but really, especially, it started right around here when Ripple got sued by the SEC for a very, very long time. Even for years and years, I said there was better opportunities. I said, why would you want to invest in an asset that is currently being sued by the United States regulator? I think there's better opportunities out there. So again, Altcoin Daily started their channel right around here. For years and years, I just thought there was better opportunities. It was at the end, it was right around here that the SEC dropped their lawsuit against XRP, against Ripple, and it was at the very end of 2024, summer end, that I said, you know what, the circumstances have changed. The environment, the crypto environment regulatorily has changed, so my opinion should change along with it. And that's the beauty of subscribing to Altcoin Daily, being a multi-year subscriber. And the XRP community, I admire you, the XRP community. You never lost faith.
I think the XRP community, they really are a bit of a cult. They are dedicated people, and rightfully so. There are a lot of XRP wallets, I think more than 6 million out there. So we know there's pent-up demand to tap into XRP in a more traditional Wall Street wrapper. Now,
so assuming my investing thesis plays out, which is I believe Bitcoin will continue to go up in 2025, I think we can make it to around $140,000, $150,000 per coin minimum, and maybe we go higher. I'd love that. But assuming my investing thesis plays out, I also believe products or coins with product market fit will benefit, especially those coins under the Donald Trump pro-America crypto future. XRP is made in America. Solana is made in America. Cardano is more global, but is based in America. I think if the Bitcoin price hits at least $150,000 per coin, Ethereum could at least hit $550,000, maybe $6,000 per coin, and XRP over $5 per coin. If the Bitcoin price hits at least $150,000, that means 1,000 coins would be worth at least $5,000. Of course, if the Bitcoin price hits over $250,000 per coin this year, maybe end of next year, I think $9. That means 1,000 coins would be worth at least $9,000. Anybody looking to buy, sell, or trade XRP, I recommend exchange partner WeX, deposit $100 or $1,000, whatever, and get 20% back immediately, meaning if you deposit $1,000, you'll get an instant $200, as well as VIP 2 status and up to $30,000 in welcome bonuses, only for you, only with code Altcoin, limited time. Reading the comments now to see what you think, your XRP price expectations, and like always, see you tomorrow.